Wheaties. Let it fuel you. Hurry and vote today for your favorite Wheaties champion of all time. Top 10 boxes will be re-released. See box for details.
You want to be prepared? You watch the Weather Channel. When it comes to something as important as this, knowing what we know can make all the difference. It's all we do. Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
More than 100 truck drivers are stranded in their rigs in Kentucky. Be prepared for travel problems in parts of the east today. You'll see stormy weather in much of the region. We've got a live report coming up from Cleveland, Ohio. Good morning and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Marshall Seas.
And I'm Bruce Edwards. Now, there is snow in the northern tier of states and freezing rain as you move farther south. Now, in Boston, it's dry right now, but a little bit later on, you'll see the snowflakes moving in. Now, Houston, you could see some scattered thunderstorms later today. St. Louis, though, is seeing freezing rain and some light snow mixture. That'll diminish later today, while in New York City, you'll see things begin as snow, mixing with a little freezing rain, and eventually switch over to plain old rain. And with more details, let's check back in with Marshall.
Thanks, Bruce. That's right, but you're up early this morning. You're ready to make the commute into New York City or Boston, Hartford, Connecticut, and you're in pretty good shape right now, looking out the window and saying it doesn't seem too bad. Cold, but no precipitation out there. Well, that's just to our west and south. It's moved into the Philadelphia area already this morning. Snow. It's been some heavy snow out around Zanesville, Ohio, and Morgantown, West Virginia, out in the Cumberland Plateau. And we've got just to the south of there, freezing rain, very icy conditions in Kentucky, many roads impassable. It's suggested by local authorities you just wait before you venture out today until the warmer air moves in and it turns to rain. Now that's going to be a problem for us in the Northeast this morning. 19 in Boston, 22 in New York City, 26 in Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C., 24. There are some pockets of very heavy snow occurring now around the Baltimore, Washington area, and that's all going to be headed right across our region, and we can expect several inches of snow before it turns to freezing rain, then sleet and then rain later tonight. Light snow falling around Philadelphia. It's headed toward Sussex County in upstate northwest New Jersey toward the Poconos. This area under a winter weather advisory for later today. We'll see several inches of snow out here, followed by freezing rain and sleet. Not quite into New York City yet, so the commute's going to be a dry one this morning, but this afternoon it looks very rough. Further out to our west, freezing rain, higher elevations getting snow. It's snowing in Pittsburgh, out along the Ohio River toward Cincinnati, freezing rain, and definitely very troublesome travel. Snow to the north, heavy snow advisories for Cleveland, Ohio for later today, and we have a live report out of there. Bruce?
Thanks very much, Marshall. Indeed, the Weather Channel's Jim Cantori is situated in the best location in the nation, Cleveland, Ohio, right there on the lake shore. Near Burke Lakefront, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the new stadium that is being built just to your east. Jim, good morning. Looks like so far you are dry but cold, but the snow is not far away from you, down in Akron already.
Yeah, it's not, Bruce. You know, we've been kind of watching the sky this morning, but it just looked like those thicker clouds with the snow haven't quite made it here yet. But as Marshall had mentioned, we are in winter storm warning for heavy snow. later on today and on into tonight, so travel could get extremely tricky. And Bruce, as you always mention, we could have a meteorological goulash here. It may not be just all snow. We may get sleet, we may get freezing rain. The good news is, as we head into this weekend, we don't have the holiday travel. Behind me here, you can see Highway 2 as the headlights are the westbound moving traffic, and everything's moving along just fine this morning. Pavement, of course, is dry, but as I flew into Cleveland last night, I saw two things. One, a lot of the side streets did still have a lot of snow on them, and two, if you're missing some bags, they very well may be at this Cleveland airport, because all sorts of baggage is lined up as a result of last weekend's storm. So unbelievable the amount of delays that's caused in just everybody's lives. We'll keep you posted here from Cleveland right now. Temperature about 17 degrees. We got about 7 inches of snow on the ground, and no new snow in sight, at least in the near future. Back to you, Bruce.
All righty, thank you. Jim Cantore with the Shoreway in Cleveland, Ohio. Marshall Cease takes a look at the snow and the cold air that's gripping the Midwest. Marshall?
Thanks, Bruce. You saw where Jim Cantore was, and no snow there now, but it is headed that way. Heavy snow warnings, actually, for later today and this evening for the Cleveland area. Overnight snow, too, and tomorrow morning, not tapering off till tomorrow afternoon. So Jim will watch those conditions deteriorate as the day goes on today. Here's one batch headed his way, about 1 to 2 inches in a light swath across northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and further west. That'll move right across the Indiana and Ohio tollway systems today. To the south, though, we have travel problems. Springfield, Illinois, freezing rain. Columbia, Missouri, freezing rain. Over toward Lafayette in Indiana, some freezing rain too. Worst travel trouble spots in eastern Kentucky right now. Temperatures very cold. Cleveland's 14, but Jim makes it, or feels like it's 4 degrees when you factor in the winds. 11 at Chicago. Wind chills in northern plains, 40 to 50 degrees below zero. Here's a forecast for today. A lot of light snow here, but the biggest problem area, Ohio River, over toward the mid-Mississippi Valley. We'll keep you advised of that all morning long. Here's Bruce with some of those details.
That's right. It is a little sloppy in the Southland, mainly rain, and it's going to be a messy day, and possibly even some thunderstorms later today, but we are seeing some freezing rain in parts of the southern plain states. We look at the water vapor, or the satellite picture this morning, and we do see cloud cover expanding, and I show you this, particularly as you get into Oklahoma and Arkansas and parts of southern Missouri. You can see the cloud cover here as we do have some moisture aloft. I show you this because the radar doesn't really show much of anything going on. If you look strictly at the radar, you'd say, oh, everything's fairly quiet. That is not the case. They have a lot of freezing drizzle. It's a shallow layer of moisture there that is falling in, but it is enough to create some hazardous travel into Oklahoma, most all of Arkansas, and up into Missouri this morning. It's the area north of this warm front. That's where there's the cold air at the surface. So you're seeing the freezing rain and drizzle here, while you get south of the system in the warm air, and it's plain old rain, but at times later today we could see some strong and potentially even severe storms. Look at the temperature contrast with the freezing drizzle, 25 Oklahoma City, freezing drizzle Little Rock 30, but Dallas is at 44. It's 66 in Houston, 55 in Jackson, 50 in Birmingham. Atlanta's at 45. That was a little cool in Jacksonville and Florida, South Florida, 64 in Miami, but it'll be quiet here. And temperatures, again, as you can see, the 24-hour change. I show you this to show you the negative numbers here. There is some cold air nudging its way down to the Arklatex. And here's the Little Rock radar. And once again, you look at the radar, you're thinking it's no real big deal here. But Springfield, Fort Smith, Little Rock, Pine Bluff, Hot Springs, all reporting freezing rain and drizzle. You get to the south and we see moisture increasing over Louisiana. Pretty quiet now, but heavier rains possible later. And then from Jackson, Mississippi to Birmingham, Alabama, and from Birmingham, Alabama along I-20 towards Atlanta, Georgia, you have wet weather here. That continues to Augusta, and then I-85 up through Athens and up to Greenville and Spartanburg. We have wet weather here into the southern Appalachians, and that wet weather will continue to move its way northward. And with more in your forecast, here's Marshall.
Bruce, I was just checking Jonesboro and Jacksonville, Arkansas, just west of Memphis. Thunder, lightning, and freezing rain. That is what you're hearing out there when you thought you heard something happen. That was thunder. A little thunderstorm there, and that's freezing rain because the temperatures here are just 28 degrees to 30 degrees. Now, it's going to get warmer. We'll have a chance of thunderstorms later this afternoon with rain, but this morning, very wintry with thunder and freezing rain. Freezing rain is very thick, and travel is a problem in eastern Kentucky. We'll expect that to turn to rain by midday today. Later this afternoon, that freezing rain and sleet moves into Pennsylvania and into Connecticut. Look out in
Nature's soothing herbal remedies.